My daughter-in-law called me too involved. When I told my son, he said, "You have to apologize. My marriage has to come first." I smiled and replied, "Great, now handle everything yourselves." I canceled their $65,000 wedding, took back my house, and sold the car. Moments later, I heard a loud voice outside my door. I was arranging fresh roses in their kitchen when Lauren walked in and said the words that would cost her everything. "You're too involved, Victoria." I froze mid-stem, the thorns suddenly pressing into my palm hard enough to draw blood. The flowers I'd brought every Tuesday for 2 years, white roses, Lauren's favorite, suddenly felt like evidence of my own foolishness. A small drop of blood fell onto their marble countertop, the countertop I'd paid for. "I'm sorry?" "You heard me." Lauren crossed her arms, her face cold in a way I'd never seen before. "You're here constantly, redecorating our house without asking, planning our meals, buying things we don't need. It's suffocating. You need to step back." My throat tightened. The kitchen around us, the custom cabinets, the farmhouse sink, the professional-grade range swam slightly in my vision. I'd been funding their entire existence for 2 years. The $80,000 down payment on this house. Both their cars, a BMW X5 and a Mercedes C-Class, $87,000 combined. The $65,000 wedding I'd spent 6 months planning down to the last napkin fold. I'd even been covering half their mortgage, $2,400 every single month, because Daniel said they were getting established. I'd given them $145,000 in 2 years, plus the monthly payments, plus the small gifts, plus the groceries I brought every week because Lauren mentioned money was tight. "Lauren, I'm just trying to help my son." "Well, stop. We don't need a third person in this marriage." I looked at her then, really looked. At the Cartier bracelet on her wrist, my Christmas gift. At the highlights in her hair, the $300 appointments I paid for because she said looking professional mattered for her career. At the confidence in her stance that came from knowing she had a safety net she never once thanked me for. "I see," I said quietly. I set down the roses, walked to the front door, and left without another word. That evening I called Daniel. "Your wife said I'm too involved. We need to discuss this." His sigh came through the phone like a slap. "Mom, you have to apologize. My marriage has to come first." My hand tightened around the phone so hard my knuckles went white. "Apologize? For being called suffocating after everything I've done for you both? You are too involved. Lauren's right. You show up unannounced. You make decisions about our house. You need to respect our boundaries. I've given you everything, and we're grateful, but this has to stop. You're my mother, but she's my wife. She comes first." Something cold and sharp settled in my chest, a clarity I hadn't felt in 2 years. "So you're choosing her over me? After I've sacrificed everything to give you this life?" "It's not about choosing. It's about priorities. And yes, my wife comes first. Always." I smiled, the kind of smile that would have terrified him if he could see it. The smile I used to wear in boardrooms before closing deals that destroyed competitors who underestimated me. "Great," I said, my voice deadly calm. "Now handle everything yourselves." I hung up and stared at my phone for exactly 30 seconds. Then I started making calls. First, the wedding venue. "Good evening. This is Victoria Chen. I need to speak to Sarah immediately." Sarah Mitchell, the venue coordinator I'd been working with for 6 months, came on the line. "Mrs. Chen, I was just finaling the seating chart. Cancel the Morrison Chen wedding. Everything. Complete cancellation." Silence. Then, I'm sorry? You heard me. Cancel it. The ceremony, the reception, everything. "Mrs. Chen, the wedding is in 4 weeks. We have non-refundable deposits. I don't care about losing the deposits. Cancel it. Tonight, I want confirmation via email within the hour. But the bride and groom, I'm the one who paid for everything, Sarah. I'm the client. Cancel it." I could hear her breathing quicken. "Of course, I'll send the cancellation immediately." Second, the caterer. "Richmond Catering. This is Marcus." "Marcus Laurent?" I asked. "The owner?" "Yes, this is he. Mrs. Chen, cancel the Morrison Chen wedding order. All of it. The plated dinner for 200, the cocktail hour, the dessert bar, everything." "Mrs. Chen, I don't understand. We just confirmed the final menu last week. I'm canceling. How much do I lose? Your deposits were to $8,400, but the order is already in progress. Keep it. Cancel everything else. This is highly unusual. May I ask?" "No, you may not. Cancellation confirmation to my email tonight." Third, the florist. "Bella's Blooms. This is Victoria Chen. Cancel my order. The Morrison Chen wedding. $12,000 worth of white roses. Cancel it." The florist, Anna Petrova, gasped. "But Mrs. Chen, we've already imported the Ecuadorian roses. They arrive on Tuesday. These were special order. I'll pay for them, but I want them delivered to Mercy Hospital's cancer ward instead. Every single stem. With a card that says, 'In honor of mothers who are appreciated.'" A pause. Then softly, "I understand." Fourth, the photographer. Fifth, the string quartet. Sixth, the champagne supplier. Seventh, the cake designer. Each call felt like removing a stone from my back. Each cancellation confirmation email that pinged into my inbox felt like breathing for the first time in years. At 8:47 p.m., I called my property manager. "Tom, this is Victoria Chen. I need you to file eviction papers tomorrow morning." First thing, Tom Bradley, who'd managed my properties for 12 years, went very quiet. "Eviction? On which property?" 2847 Morrison Street. "But that's your son's house." "It's my house. He's a tenant who hasn't paid rent because I've been covering his mortgage. But that's ending. 30 days notice. Effective immediately. File the paperwork tomorrow." "Victoria, are you sure?" "This seems..." "I'm certain. Email me the filed documents by noon tomorrow." "Understood." At 9:23 p.m., I called BMW of Riverside. "This is Victoria Chen. I have 2 vehicles in my name that I need repossessed. Tonight, if possible." The night manager, Robert Chen, no relation, pulled up my account. "Mrs. Chen, you're current on both loans. There's no reason to repossess. They're my vehicles. I'm the registered registered owner. The drivers are no longer authorized. I want them picked up tonight. That's highly unusual. Are you reporting them stolen? No, I'm exercising my rights as the owner. Can you do it or not? We can have a transport there by 3 a.m. Perfect. I'll text you the address. At 9:58 p.m., I called my bank. Capital Trust Private Banking. This is Jennifer Winters speaking. Jennifer, this is Victoria Chen. Account number 44728834. I need to remove an authorized user tonight. Of course, Mrs. Chen. Which authorized user? Daniel Morrison, my son. Remove him from all accounts. Remove all his access and freeze the trust fund disbursements permanently. The trust fund? Mrs. Chen, I established that trust. I funded it and I'm freezing it. Can you do this tonight? I'll need to conference in our trust department, but yes, we can process this immediately. Do it. By midnight, I'd dismantled their entire life. I sat in my home office, the real one, in my actual house, the one I'd earned, the one no one had ever given me, and stared at the confirmation emails stacking up in my inbox. Cancellation confirmed. Morrison Chen, wedding venue. Cancellation confirmed. Richmond catering. Cancellation confirmed. Bella's Blooms repossession. Scheduled. BMW X5. Mercedes C-Class access removed. All bank accounts eviction. Filed. 2847 Morrison Street. Each email was a nail in the coffin of their entitlement. I'd built everything for them, and they'd spit in my face. Now they'd learn what it felt like to build something themselves. The screaming started at 6:47 a.m. I was in my yoga studio, the converted sunroom overlooking my garden, when Lauren's voice pierced the morning air like a siren. What did you do? Oh my God, what did you do? I held my pose, downward dog, and breathed slowly through my nose. In for 4, out for 4. Victoria, I know you're in there. I walked calmly to my window. Lauren stood in my circular driveway in pajamas, pink silk ones I'd bought her for her birthday, mascara-streaked face, phone clutched in her shaking hand. Her feet were bare. She'd run here. Daniel's BMW was already gone from their driveway. Repossessed at 3:47 a.m., according to the confirmation text I'd received. My phone started buzzing. Daniel's photo flashed on the screen. I let it ring once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Then I answered. Mom. Daniel's voice was pure panic, raw terror. The venue called. They said you canceled our entire wedding. I did. You can't do that. We have 200 guests. Invitations went out months ago. People have booked flights, hotels. I can do whatever I want with my money. And since I'm too involved, I'm removing myself completely. This is insane. You're destroying our lives because your feelings got hurt? No, darling. I'm teaching you what boundaries actually look like. You wanted me out of your life. Congratulations. You got exactly what you asked for. Heavy breathing. Then, the cars won't start. I just went outside and the BMW is gone. They've been repossessed. They were in my name. Legally mine. I simply took back my property. A choked, strangled sound came through the phone. The Mercedes too? Gone by now, I'd imagine. Pickup was scheduled for 6:30. Mom, what the fuck? And the house, silence. The kind of silence that comes when someone's entire world suddenly makes sense in the worst possible way. What about the house? 30-day eviction notice. Should have been delivered to your door this morning. Tom Bradley filed the paperwork at 8:02 a.m. yesterday. The property's in my name. You'll need to find somewhere you can actually afford on your combined salaries of, what is it, $124,000 before taxes? We can't afford any of this without you. I smiled at my reflection in the window. Then I suggest you figure it out, together, since your marriage comes first. Mom, please. Lauren didn't mean it. We were just stressed. The wedding planning has been overwhelming. She meant every word. And so did you when you told me to apologize for caring. We're sorry. We'll do anything. Anything except appreciate what you had until it was gone. Enjoy your boundaries, Daniel. I ended the call. The pounding on my front door started 37 seconds later, fists hammering my mahogany door. The sound echoed through my foyer like thunder. Mom, open this door right now. I peered through the people. Daniel and Lauren, both sobbing, both desperate, standing on my porch like refugees from their own entitlement. Daniel was in a t-shirt and sweatpants. Lauren's silk pajamas were dirty at the hem. She'd walked here barefoot through my garden. We're sorry, Lauren screamed. Her voice was hoarse. She'd been crying for a while. Please, we need you. We'll apologize. We'll make it right. You don't need me? I called through the door. You need my money. There's a difference. We understand now. We were wrong. Just please, you understand you're facing consequences. Not that you hurt me. Not that you took me for granted for 2 years. Just that life is hard without a safety net you never once thanked me for. The pounding intensified. Daniel's voice cracked. Mom, please. Where are we supposed to go? What are we supposed to do? That sounds like a boundary issue. Handle it yourselves, like adults. We don't have anywhere to live. Daniel, you're 32 years old. You have a master's degree in engineering. Lauren is a project manager. You have combined income of over $100,000. You'll figure it out. But the wedding is canceled, which reminds me, you'll need to inform your guests. I'd suggest starting with your mother-in-law. Oh wait, that's me. And I'm too involved. Remember? I walked away from the door, their screaming fading behind me. In my kitchen, I opened the Sub-Zero refrigerator, the one I'd paid for in my house that I'd earned, and pulled out a bottle of Dom Perignon, the champagne I'd been saving for their reception. I poured myself a glass. The pounding continued for another 20 minutes. Then it stopped. When I looked through the window again, they were sitting on my porch steps, holding each other, both crying. My phone buzzed. A text from Daniel. Mom, please, we'll do anything. We need you. I stared at it for a long time. Then I blocked his number. For 2 days, they called everyone they knew. I know because my phone exploded with calls from family members. Daniel's father, my ex-husband Marcus. Victoria, what the hell did you do? Daniel called me sobbing. He said you canceled his wedding? I did. Since I paid for it and they told me I was too involved, I removed my involvement. You can't just, that's insane. insane. That's vindictive. Did he tell you what his wife said to me? What he said to me? Silence. No, I didn't think so. Goodbye, Marcus. My sister Caroline. Vicky, Daniel called me. He's devastated. Please, whatever happened, you can work this out. He chose his wife's disrespect over his mother's support. I'm respecting that choice. But the wedding was paid for with my money. My money, my decision. Daniel's best friend, Jake. Mrs. Chen. I don't know what happened, but Daniel is falling apart. He said they might have to move into a motel. That can't be true. It's very true, and it's not my problem anymore. Lauren's mother, Patricia. You vindictive bitch. How dare you do this to my daughter? We'll sue you. For what? Taking back my own property? Canceling a wedding I was paying for? Go ahead. Call a lawyer. I'll give you my attorney's number. Her name is Catherine Reeves. She's represented me for 15 years. She'd love to hear your case. Patricia hung up. My attorney, Catherine Reeves, called me that afternoon. Victoria, I got a very interesting voicemail from a Patricia Morrison. She seems to think she can sue you for emotional distress. Can she? Catherine laughed, the sharp professional laugh of a woman who'd made senior partner at 43. Not even remotely. You owned everything. You paid for everything. You can cancel and repossess anything you want. She doesn't have a leg to stand on. Good. Victoria, may I ask what happened? I told her everything. The 2 years of support, the constant giving, the too involved comment, Daniel's choice. Catherine was quiet for a long moment. Then, you know what? Good for you. I wish more women had your backbone. On day 3, Daniel showed up at my office. I work as a consultant for tech startups. 28 years in the industry. Built 3 companies from nothing. Sold 2 for 8 figures. I know what it's like to build something real. My assistant, Rachel Kim, buzzed me at 2:37 p.m. Victoria, your son is here. He doesn't have an appointment, but he's refusing to leave. I could hear Daniel's voice in the background, pleading, desperate. Send him in. Daniel walked into my office looking like he hadn't slept in days. His eyes were red. His shirt was wrinkled. He looked broken. Mom. Daniel, please, just talk to me. I'm talking. He sank into the chair across from my desk and put his head in his hands. We lost everything. The house, the cars, the wedding. Lauren's parents won't help us. Her dad said we made our bed. We're staying in a Motel 6. Our security deposit for a new apartment is $3,200 and we don't have it. We've been eating dollar menu items for 2 days. That sounds difficult. He looked up, eyes desperate. You're really going to let us suffer like this? I'm not letting you do anything. You're an adult. You're making choices. Those choices have consequences. Mom, I said I was sorry. No, you said you were sorry you lost my money. That's different. That's not fair. You told me my priorities were wrong, that I was too involved, that I needed boundaries. I'm giving you what you asked for. I didn't ask for this. You asked for me to stop being involved in your life. This is what that looks like. He stood up, voice breaking. What do you want from me? You want me to grovel? Fine. I'm groveling. Please, help us. I looked at him for a long time. At my son, the boy I'd raised alone after Marcus left. The boy I'd worked 3 jobs to put through college. The boy I'd given everything to. The boy who'd chosen his wife's cruelty over my love. No. What? No, I won't help you. But you don't get to treat me like an ATM for 2 years. Call me suffocating when I show up with flowers. Tell me your wife comes first, and then expect me to rescue you when reality hits. That's not how this works. Mom, please, get out of my office. Mom, get out. He left crying. Rachel came in 5 minutes later. Are you okay? I'm perfect, I said, and I meant it. The story got out. I don't know who told who, but within a week, everyone knew. The canceled wedding, the repossessed cars, the eviction. The narrative that formed was interesting. Some people thought I was a monster. Can you imagine cutting off your own son? They whispered at yoga, at the grocery store, at charity events. But more people, far more people, were on my side. Good for her, I heard Carol Myers say at the country club. That daughter-in-law sounded entitled as hell. I wish I'd had the guts to do that, my friend Diane confessed over lunch. My son treats me like a bank too. His wife hates me. I keep giving them money anyway because I'm afraid of losing him. You already lost him, I said gently. You just haven't cut the cord yet. The story spread. Someone posted about it on Facebook, then Twitter, then it hit Reddit. Mother cancels son's wedding after being told she's too involved. Aita. The comments were satisfying. NTA. They fucked around and found out she funded their entire lives and they called her suffocating. They deserved this. This is what boundaries look like. Good for her. I'm taking notes. This is how you handle entitled adult children. The story hit local news, not because it was newsworthy, but because it was viral worthy. Local mother cancels $65,000 wedding after being called too involved. They interviewed me. Jennifer Rodriguez from Channel 7. Mrs. Chen, some people are calling you vindictive. What do you say to that? I say I spent 2 years funding their lifestyle. I gave them $145,000. I paid half their mortgage. I bought them cars. I planned their entire wedding. And when I brought flowers to their house, flowers I brought every week for 2 years, his wife told me I was too involved. My son told me to apologize. So I did what they asked. I stopped being involved. But canceling the wedding seems extreme. The wedding was my gift. When you insult the gift giver, you don't get to keep the gift. The interview aired that night. My phone exploded. Messages from women across the country. Mothers who'd been taken for granted. Who'd funded adult children who never said thank you. Who'd been called overbearing for caring. You're my hero. I'm doing this with my daughter. Thank you for showing me it's okay to have boundaries. This gave me the courage to stop enabling my son. I saved every message. 6 weeks passed. Daniel and Lauren moved into a studio apartment. $1,200 a month, which ate most of their budget. They sold Lauren's designer clothes on Poshmark. Daniel picked up a second job driving Uber at night. I heard all this through the grapevine, through my sister, through mutual friends who thought I should know. I didn't care. Then, on a Thursday evening, my doorbell rang. I opened it. Lauren stood there, alone, no makeup, hair in a ponytail, wearing jeans and a Target t-shirt shirt instead of her usual designer wardrobe. She looked different, smaller, humbled. Mrs. Chen, Victoria, please, can I talk to you? I considered closing the door. Instead, I said, 5 minutes. She sat on my porch steps, the same steps where she'd begged 6 weeks ago. I came to apologize, really apologize. Not because I want your money back, not because I want you to fix things, just because you deserve to hear it. I waited. I was cruel. I was entitled. You gave us everything, and I treated you like you were in the way. I didn't appreciate that you were showing love the only way you knew how. I was worried about my marriage feeling crowded, but I never once stopped to think about what you'd sacrifice to give us that life. She wiped her eyes. Working 2 jobs to make rent teaches you things real fast about what matters, about who was really there. Why are you telling me this? Because you deserve to hear it, and because Daniel is too proud to come himself, but he's drowning. Not financially. We're making it. Barely, but we're making it. He's drowning emotionally. He misses his mom. He wakes up crying. He says he destroyed the most important relationship in his life because he was too stupid to see it. And you want me to fix that? No. She shook her head. I just wanted you to know that we understand now, that you were right, that we learned what we needed to learn, and that I'm sorry. Truly, deeply sorry. She stood up. That's all. Thank you for listening. She walked away. I sat on my porch for an hour after she left. I didn't call Daniel. Not that week, not the next. But 3 months later, on Christmas Eve, I sent him a text. I'm not ready to fix this, but I'm willing to talk. Coffee? January 3rd, 10 a.m. Starbucks on Riverside. His response came in seconds. I'll be there. Thank you. We met. We talked. Not about money, not about the wedding, about feelings, about hurt, about the 2 years of taking me for granted. He cried. I cried. We didn't fix everything, but we started. Lauren wrote me a letter. A real one. Handwritten on notebook paper because they couldn't afford nice stationery. She apologized again. She explained how they'd paid off the motel, found the studio, budget their lives down to every dollar, how they'd learned to appreciate what it meant to build something yourself. We were handed everything, she wrote. We never had to struggle. We didn't understand what it cost you to give us that life. Now we do. I kept the letter. It's been a year now. Daniel and I have coffee every Sunday. We don't talk about the wedding that never happened. We don't talk about the house or the cars. We talk about life, about his work, about books, about the future. He and Lauren are still in the studio. They're saving for a down payment, a real one they'll earn themselves. They invited me to dinner last month in their tiny apartment. Lauren cooked badly, but she tried. Thank you, Daniel said as I was leaving, for teaching me what I needed to learn, which was that love isn't a transaction. That generosity isn't permission to take advantage. That boundaries go both ways. I hugged him. You're welcome. I still haven't given them money. They haven't asked. Lauren sends me photos of their progress, the emergency fund they're building, the wedding they're planning for next year, the one they're paying for themselves. It's going to be small, she texted. Maybe 50 people, courthouse ceremony, backyard reception, but it'll be ours. Ma, sounds perfect, I replied, because it does. They wanted boundaries. They got them, but they also got something more valuable. The knowledge that real love isn't about money. It's about respect. And now finally they understand the difference. People still ask me if I regret it. Canceling the wedding, taking the cars, evicting them. I don't, not even a little. Because the son I have coffee with now, the one who thanks me for coming, who asks about my life, who remembers my birthday without Lauren reminding him, that son is worth more than the one I had before. The one I bought. This one I earned, and he earned me back. That's worth every dollar I spent and every dollar I took back.